Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Path Prabhuji, for leading us to into Mangalacharan. Thank you very much. Today we have with us Rukma Prabhuji, who is the president of the temple in Nairobi, ISKCON. We are very grateful, Prabhuji, for joining us and giving your precious time to us. Dandvat Pranam. On behalf of all the devotees from all over the world, we'd like to pay our humble obeisances, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, we are reading the Bhagavad Gita as it is. We are on chapter 6. Chapter 6 is called the Dhyana Yoga. And today we are on text 30. Prabhuji, we are on text 30. So I hand over to you now. We can help you with the reading of the text if you so desire.
Okay, I'll speak the Sanskrit, then you can read the purport, yeah?
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yo mam pashyati sarvatra
Yo mam pashyati sarvatra
sarvam cha mai pashyati
sarvam cha mayi pashyati
tasyaham na pranashyami
tasyaham na pranashyami
sa cha me na pranashyati. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra
Yo mam pashyati sarvatra
sarvam cha mai pashyati
sarvam cha mayi
pashyati
tasyaham na pranashyami
tasyaham na
na
pranashyami
prashyami
sa cha me na pranashyati.
sacha
mena
mena
pranashyati.
Translation by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
For one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. You can repeat after me. For one who sees me everywhere
For one who
sees
sees
me
everywhere
everywhere
and sees everything in me,
and sees
everything in me,
I am never lost,
I am never
lost,
nor is he ever lost to me.
nor
nor
is
is
he
he
ever
ever
lost
lost to me.
Okay, we request Kritika Mataji, please read the purport.
Hare Krishna.
ले लिया प्रसाद आपने?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, I'll read the purport. A person in Krishna consciousness certainly sees Lord Krishna everywhere, and he sees everything in Krishna. Such a person may appear to see all separate manifestations of the material nature, but in each and every instance, he is conscious of Krishna, knowing that everything is a manifestation of Krishna's energy. Nothing can exist without Krishna, and Krishna is the Lord of everything. This is the basic principle of Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is the development of love of Krishna, a position transcendental even to the material liberation. At this stage of Krishna consciousness, beyond self realization, the devotee becomes one with Krishna in the sense that Krishna becomes everything for the devotee, and the devotee becomes full in loving Krishna. An intimate relationship between the Lord and the devotee then exists. In that stage, the living entity can never be annihilated, nor is the personality of Godhead ever out of the sight of the devotee. To merge in Krishna is spiritual annihilation. A devotee takes no such risks. It is stated in the Brahma Samhita 5.38, Premanjana Charuta Bhakti Vilochana Santaha sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam shyam sundaram achintya guna swarupam govindam adi purusham tam aham bhajami. I worship the primeval Lord, Govinda, who is also seen by the devotees whose eyes are anointed with the pulp of love. He is seen in his eternal form of Shyama Sundara, situated within the heart of the devotee. At this stage, Lord Krishna never disappears from the sight of the devotee, nor does the devotee ever lose the sight of the Lord. In the case of a yogi who sees the Lord as Paramatma within the heart, the same applies. Such a yogi turns into a pure devotee and cannot bear to live for a moment without seeing the Lord within himself. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mother. Okay, so the verse is, for one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. So beautiful verse. Now you should know that the sixth chapter is called Jnana Yoga. And Krishna is trying to teach Arjuna Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga means it's more or less a mechanical process in which involves 8 things. Yam, Niyam, Dhyana, Dharana, Pratyahar, and so on, up to Samadhi. And this is actually meant for yogis. Of course, Krishna does not want Arjuna to become a yogi, but you cannot become a devotee without having yogic principles. Because even when you become a devotee, you have to have a yogic way of life. Otherwise, you cannot become a devotee. So anyway, in this particular verse, or in this particular chapter, if you read the entire chapter, you'll find it teaches you a discipline. You must have heard the verse earlier, that you have to regulate your eating, sleeping, and so on. I think last time we discussed that verse. And as you go further, how to fix your mind onto Krishna. Of course, a yogi fixes his mind on Paramatma feature. Paramatma means the Lord in the heart, because Krishna is situated in the heart of everyone. And this is how, or what a yogi does. You'll find that word yoga means to connect yourself to Krishna. And a yogi wants to see Krishna within the heart. For example, like Dhruva, when he went to the forest, and Krishna sent Narad to see whether he's very serious or not. And Narad saw that Dhruva was very serious. So Dhruva was taught how to perform yoga. And he was advised that first build a murti of mud, because in forest you get mud. And then you worship it by garlanding, offering garlands. And then month to month, how to practice yoga. And in this way, it became into Bhakti Yoga because it was taught by Narad Muni. And after 5 months, Dhruva Maharaj was actually able to see Krishna in the form of Vishnu form. It's called Prashnagarbha. He saw him eye to eye. So every yoga means a very strict discipline, and you have to follow. In our ISKCON, you find that Srila Prabhupada has set at least the morning program, a very strict program, in which you have to wake up at least by 3:30, 4 o'clock, attend the Mangalarti, perform your japa, attend Tulsi Puja, and then hear Bhagavatam, Guru Puja. So the morning program is very, very powerful. So we are also following a yogic way of life. And those who fail to follow this program, they will deviate from Krishna consciousness. They'll become weaker. But if you follow the program strictly, that is called sadhan, bhajan and sadhan. Day to day, if you perform your bhajan and sadhan, you live a very yogic life, which is very useful in order to render service to Krishna. Srila Prabhupada says in his lecture, bhajana karila sadhana karla mutyu jane hoila. It means when your death comes, your bhajan and your sadhana will be tested. If you perform your bhajan, bhajan means hearing and chanting nicely the holy names, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. That is called hearing. Chanting the holy names and also hearing the holy names. These two things constitute bhajan and your association with the devotees. Because this is the method which has been followed since thousands of years. And Srila Prabhupada is following the same track, and he advises you to do the same. And sadhan means the process, how well you follow your process. Process means following the 4 regulatory principles, chanting your rounds daily, associating with devotees, and trying to remain a form in which, a lifestyle, which is not a worldly lifestyle, but more or less a detached lifestyle. Detached means try to rise above the materialistic.
We lost you, Prabhuji.
Hare
How do
Krishna.
we, and the answer is that
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, we lost you.
in the Bhagavatam, in the very first canto, it's Ujita. Janesu asu viragim.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, we can't hear you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
I think it got cut or what?
Yes, Prabhuji, your
Yes,
internet.
it
I
got
thought it was my internet, but
Okay,
everybody could not hear.
Okay, now it's normal, yeah?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So we continue.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, so we are all there. Anyway, so bhajan karila, sadhan karila, mrityu jane hoila. At the time of death, even your process will be checked, how well you follow the process. That's why Srila Prabhupada guarantees us that whole of you, since after if you take an initiation, if you follow all the rules and regulations and live your lifestyle as Srila Prabhupada has told us, we'll go back home. There's no doubt about it. Now, let's go to the purport. Some very nice points are here. The first thing Srila Prabhupada says, a Krishna conscious person means a devotee sees Krishna everywhere and he sees everything in Krishna. Now, when you go to the 7th chapter, Krishna is going to speak about his various energies. And if you really judge or try to understand those energies, everything belongs to Krishna. For example, he says, Bhumi apo nalo vayu mankam budhira evacha. The earth, the water, the fire, the air, the ether, the mind, intelligence, false ego. All these are properties of Krishna. And besides this, the soul and the spirit soul, everything emanates from Krishna. So there's nothing else left without it. Besides this, if you understand these two energies, spiritual energies and material energies properly, you will see Krishna everywhere. It's only we need to have that knowledge and we have to have that training of seeing Krishna everywhere. For example, in our Indian culture, all the children from a young age, they are taught how to go to temple, how to see the deity, how to bow down to the deity, and with folded hands in front of the deity, they offer prayers. Whatever prayers they offer, it doesn't matter. But a small child will see that my parents are doing, and from a very young age, a child is able to imbibe those qualities. But if someone is not born in a good family like this, he says, oh, why are they bowing down in front of a statue? They do not see Krishna, or they do not see the deity. The deity seems to be a statue to them. But in any religion, there is a certain way of worshipping and a certain discipline. So it's not an idol worshipping. At the same time, as the children grow up, at least from a good family, they are taught good prayers. And these prayers will mature later on to come to understand Gita or Bhagavatam or Ramayana, Mahabharata, and many, many other scriptures. All these are very, very useful so that one realizes that Krishna is everywhere. For example, Krishna says, this earth belongs to me. Now, who does not see the earth? We see earth every day. We see the sky every day. In one purport in Bhagavatam, when one realizes Paramatma, or the Lord in the heart, is like looking at the sky. The sky is massive, very big. And by seeing the sky, one can remember Krishna. By seeing the ocean, one can remember Krishna. By seeing a huge mountain, one can remember Krishna. In the Nectar of Devotion, very nice examples are given that when the cowherd boys saw the gray sky, which was about to rain, at once they remembered Krishna. Or if someone hears a flute, it does not matter which song or which music, the sound of the flute will make you remember Krishna. It's natural. This is the way of saying Krishna everywhere and seeing everything in Krishna. And if you can see everything in Krishna and see Krishna everywhere, that is called Tattva-vid. You can write this word, Tattva-vid. Tattva means in truth. Vid means the knower of the truth. Like in the second chapter, very nice words. I think most of you, you have done your second chapter, if I'm not wrong. The verse number 2, chapter 2, verse number 2. In the purport, Sri Prabhupada says, quotes the verse of a guru. Kipa vipra kipa nasi sudra kenenaya. Jai Krishna tattva veda say guru haya. It says anyone who knows Krishna in tattva in truth, then he can become a guru. But if someone does not know Krishna in truth, he cannot become a guru. For example, many people say, I know Krishna, especially in our Indian community. And when you ask them about Krishna, they may know Krishna maybe after seeing the Mahabharata serial, or maybe a Krishna serial. But that is not knowing Krishna. Krishna is much more than that. Krishna means Krishna as he is, his expansions, his incarnations, his energies, and including us, we are related. When one has all this picture, then that's good. So that's the first point Sri Prabhupada is making, seeing Krishna everywhere and everything in Krishna. In fact, in the 11th chapter, when Krishna shows universal form to Arjuna, Arjuna was able to realize that everything is actually within Krishna. And that's why he became very fearful. He did not see Krishna as a friend of his. He was very scared. So that is the first point. Second, all many different manifestations are different energies of Krishna. And the devotee is very, very conscious of this fact. Now, if you go to the 7th chapter, at least in 3 to 4 verses, Krishna speaks of his various energies, which we see in our daily life. He says, Rasoham apshukantaya. I am the taste of water. Like I am holding the glass of water. So when a devotee drinks water, he knows the taste, the unique taste is of Krishna. Rasoham apshukantaya. Prabhashmi Shashi Shurya. He sees the sun or the moon or the light which is actually given or provided by Krishna. Because the sun and the moon are also 2 eyes of Krishna in the universal form. Then he says, I am the original fragrance of the earth. The sweet smell of the earth is the smell of Krishna, because the earth belongs to Krishna. In this way, there are many, many examples given. In our day-to-day life, we can actually see Krishna everywhere. All you have to do is to get trained nicely. And you have to train yourself nicely in order to see Krishna. And when you see Krishna, nothing actually exists without Krishna. And that is the basic principle of our Krishna conscious life. When you see Krishna is everything for us, then that means you are a devotee. And that position of a devotee is much higher than even big demigods. You'll see that a devotee, when one becomes a pure devotee, Krishna becomes very, very close to him. In the Bhagavatam, it is said that I reside in the heart of my devotee, and my devotee resides, I reside in the heart of my devotee, and in my heart resides my devotee. So if you want to look for Krishna, then go to a devotee. It's explained so many times, even in Brahma Samhita, that a devotee carries Krishna always within his heart. Any pure devotee. And the 7th chapter, you can write down the verse number 7. Very easy to remember. 7. It says, Mata Parata Nanyat Kinchit Ashtit Ananjaya, which means that there is no truth higher than me, Krishna says. And really speaking, there is no truth higher than Krishna. Krishna is ultimately the topmost truth. Even in the 15th chapter, Krishna says, Vedese sarvam aham eva vedya. When you read entire Vedas, Vedas is thousands and thousands of verses. Imagine Mahabharata only is 110,000 couplets, verses. And it's a very massive book. Even if you read Mahabharata, which is written for the general mass of people, one will come to realize that cause of all causes is Krishna, even by reading of Mahabharata. In the similar way, when you read the entire Vedas, you'll come to the point that Krishna is everything. So this is called a very high realization, because without this realization, how will one engage in devotional service? And in the 10th chapter, where 4 root verses of Bhagavad Gita are there, the first verse, 10:8, Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matha sarvam pravatate. This material world and this spiritual world emanate from me. And when you know this truth, you will engage in devotional service. For example, you may know some person, maybe by his looks, but when you know that person personally, and a person is maybe a great person, then you can realize his greatness. In a similar way, till we do not hear about Krishna, we will never understand the greatness of Krishna. Krishna will remain mystery. But without hearing about Krishna from the right authority, especially from the disciplic succession, which comes from Krishna, you will not understand Krishna. Very, very difficult. But the easiest way to to understand Krishna, to know Krishna, is first thing to hear about Krishna. Very, very important. In this way, you can see that the entire creation, everything is coming from Krishna. When a devotee understands this, what does he do? He engages in devotional service. Devotional service means 9 things: hearing, chanting, remembering, serving his lotus feet, worshipping, building friendship, praying, and surrendering. These are the 9 processes of bhakti. And each of these processes, each one of them are very auspicious. Even one process, if you follow, you can go back home, back to Godhead. There is no doubt about it. Just by hearing about Krishna, one can go to Krishna. For example, we all have a common activity, especially in ISKCON, is to chant Hare Krishna. So when you are holding your beads in your hand, and as the bead rolls, the Mahamantra comes out. And the Mahamantra comes from our mouth and it enters the ear. So first thing we do is hearing. When you're chanting, you have to hear also. This is the first step into the realm of devotional service. If you hear your chanting, you will continue. If you stop your chanting, you cannot go further. That is the first formula given by Srila Prabhupada. And anyone can do. Even an illiterate person can do. Even a child can do. And even an adult can do. A Brahmin can do. Even a Sudra can do. Even a Chandala can do. Even a sinful person can do. And a sinless person can do. It's a universal thing. And something which has been practiced since thousands, we can say millions of years. The same process of chanting the name of the Supreme Lord continuously will purify you. This is Bhakti Yoga, after all, is nothing but purification of your senses, mind, and intelligence. In a day before yesterday, in our Bhagavatam class, one lady asked a question that, of course, the question was asked by me, that how do you go to Krishna? She said, by bhakti. So when I asked what is bhakti, she could not answer further. Well, she had some idea what is bhakti. But bhakti means a process by which your mind and intelligence will be connected to Krishna, if you follow the process. I give you a very simple example. Most of us, those who stay outside the temple, you have a television at your house, or maybe somewhere, some program you are watching, and if you watch a certain commercial, and it says, okay, go and buy this product, For example, I'm holding this product in my hand. Go and buy this. This is the best product. Certainly, when you go to the supermarket, since you heard so many times, you're going to pick that product. It's natural. In similar way, when you read Shastra, it is also giving you a product, which is surrender to Krishna. So when you hear it regularly on continuous basis, we will go towards it. I'll give you a very simple story, which His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj says in one lecture. There was a Brahmin, and he was a worshipper of Mother Kali. You know Kali, Kali Mata, yeah? And Kali Mata is, on one day in a month, is offered flesh of a goat. So the Brahmin thought, today I'll please Mata Kali by offering a small goat. So he went to purchase a goat, and he carried the goat on his shoulder like this. And as he was walking, he was seen by 3 thieves who made a plan how to loot him because they wanted to take the goat away. So what did they do? Each one stood at a little distance far from each other. So as the Brahmin was walking very happily, he had already taken bath and he was very clean. And he was holding a goat like that and he was walking like that. The first thief started laughing in a very sarcastic way. So the Brahmin asked him, why are you laughing on me? He said, why do you carry a dog? A Brahmin is so clean and a dog is so dirty. Why are you carrying a dog? And the Brahmin said, I'm not carrying a dog. Don't you see? I'm carrying a baby goat. A baby goat in English, I think is called a kid. I'm carrying a kid. But the thief then went away, the first thief. It was a master plan. So he steadied the legs of the goat. And he was sure that he's not carrying a dog, because if you carry a dog, the leg of a dog always has nails on it. This one didn't have nails. So he reckoned, he had at least some confidence that I'm carrying a baby goat. But a doubt arose in his mind, because the first thief had told. Now, and the second thief was standing on the road, maybe after a few meters away. He also laughed at the Brahmin and he said, hey, Brahmin, what are you doing? Why are you carrying a dirty dog on you? And this time, he started examining the dog. What he was carrying. And he realized that it is a baby goat. So again, he carried it, put it on, and he started walking. Now, up to now, 50% of his mind was already spoiled. Now the third thief came. He again laughed on him. Said the same thing. Why are you carrying a dog? Now the Brahmin got so tired, he removed the animal out of his shoulder. He left it and he just went away. So this story is explained to convince something that even a right thing can be made wrong. But Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam is not telling you wrong thing. It's telling you the right thing. That by hearing it again and again and again, you get a truth established in you. Shravantam Shu Katha Krishna, Punya Shravanam Kirtanam. Bhagavatam says, Shravantam means hearing. Hearing Krishna regularly, a devotee actually falls in love with Krishna. Because as you hear about Krishna, you are going to like Krishna. If you go to the 10th canto, everybody knows Rukmini who ultimately, who marries Krishna. Now Rukmini actually came from Maharashtra, and at that time Krishna was in Gujarat, Dwarka. It's almost 2,000 kilometers from there to there. But Rukmini had never seen Krishna, but she had heard about Krishna. From the age of 5, when Narad Muni would visit her father, Narad Muni would glorify Krishna. So Rukmini decided, if ever I marry, I'll only marry Krishna. She had made this plan. Now it so happened, when the time of marriage came, her brother, only one of the eldest brother, decided that she should marry Shishupal, and she did not want to marry. Her father wanted her to marry Krishna. Her other brothers wanted her to marry Krishna. Even the mother wanted her to marry Krishna. But one brother, because an eldest brother is considered to be as good as father, he made a plan to have her married to Shishupal. And for her, it was like that. But now, being a lady, being a woman, a chaste, good woman, at that time she was almost 16 something. The only option was to inform Krishna or to tell Krishna. And she wrote a letter, and she chose a very young Brahmin. It said immediately, take this letter quickly to Krishna. And when Krishna read the letter, he could understand the heart of Rukmini. And at the end of the letter, it was written, if you don't take me away or if you don't marry me, then consider me to be dead. So this was heavy message. Immediately, Krishna overnight prepared the chariot and he left Dwarka and came in time, exactly at the meeting place where Rukmini said, before I go to take the darshan of, as soon as I come out after taking darshan of Meenakshi means Parvati. In our Vedic culture, unmarried girls, they worship Parvati. And boys, they worship Shiva to become yogic like Shiva. And the ladies worship Parvati so that they get a good husband. It's a culture. Prabhupada mentions this very nicely in the purport. Why? So that we get a good husband or good wife, so that we can practice our Krishna consciousness nicely. So in this way, Krishna reached exactly in time, exactly the moment she's coming out of the temple. Rukmini first saw Krishna. And then Krishna is saying, should we go? And Rukmini said, yes. Rukmini came on the chariot and they left. And it is written that Krishna took his share, just like a lion takes his share from the group of foxes. Foxes are very cunning. So all those princes and kings were all watching. And it's not that Krishna stole her. Krishna blew his conch shell, warning everybody that I have come. And nobody dared to fight Krishna. But when they saw that now he has taken Rukmini, they all came to fight with Krishna, and Krishna fought with all of them, defeated them. Later on also Balaram joined. In this way, Rukmini was taken away. Now if you go to the purport of this story, the basis of this story is that she heard about Krishna. So when you hear about Krishna, the love awakens. That's why if you go to the purport, just have a look at the purport. There's a verse from Brahma Samhita, Preman Juda Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Shanta Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokyanti Yat Shama Sundaram Achintya Gunana Sarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. In this one, the very first word is very important. Prem Anjan. You'll find that our Indian ladies, Matajis, they put Anjan. You know what is Anjan? What do you call? Kajal, is it? Kajal, yeah? To make the eyes look beautiful, they put, what do you call? Mascara, yeah? On the eyes. They put a line like that, makes the eyes look more beautiful. Now, Prem Anjan in this context means when your eyes are anointed with pure love of Krishna, and you see Krishna within your heart, that beautiful Krishna, who is Shama Sundar. Shama Sundar means a bluish boy, holding a flute in his hand, standing in an H shape. I think I have a marble, a plaster of Paris Krishna with me here, which I always keep it next to me. Now, if you see this Krishna very nicely, he's bluish. A bluish boy standing in an H shape, holding a flute in his hand and having a peacock feather on his head. This is called Shama Sundaram. If you see Shama Sundara in your heart all the time, then this is the way one can focus on Krishna. So this word should be remembered. Prem Anjuna Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hrideshu Vilokyanti Yat Shama Sundara Achintya Gunana Rupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. This is the meaning is written here in the purport itself. I worship the primeval Lord Govinda. Why does it say primeval? Because there is no one older than Krishna in the entire creation. Krishna is the oldest person in the whole creation. Why? Because from Krishna comes everything. That's why it's written, primeval Govinda, who is always seen by the devotees whose eyes are anointed with the pulp of love. It means if you have love for Krishna, then you can see Krishna everywhere. He is seen in his eternal form as Shyama Sundar, situated within the heart of the devotees. Only the devotee can see Krishna in his heart. Even the yogis cannot see Krishna. They can see Vishnu, but not Krishna as a Paramatma feature. The yogis can see, but the devotee can see Krishna in their heart all the time. Even if you go to the history of India, all those who became devotees of Krishna, they were able to see Krishna. In India, we have this Mirabai, very, very famous devotee. Now, Mirabai, actually, of course, her love was not on the love of the gopis, but her love was on Aishwarya Bhava. Aishwarya Bhava means that she used to treat Krishna as her husband. But she could see Krishna, hundreds of Krishna in front of her. This is the Bhava of Mirabai. And of course, we cannot imitate, not an ordinary person. But we have to go or take a training from the gopis who could see Krishna throughout, even when Krishna was in front of them, or even when Krishna was missing in front of them. All they could see was Krishna as Shyama Sundar. Even at the age of 5, when Krishna would go out with the cows to herd the cows, of course, you all know that when Krishna went first time for taking the cows, Krishna Balaram, Nanda Maharaj had prepared shoes for both of them. And Krishna refused to wear the shoes. He says, if you want me to wear shoes, let all the cows get shoes. That's why Krishna never worn shoes when he was in Brajadam. Never. Yes, Krishna wore shoes when he went in Mathura, but not in Braj. They say, even us, when you go to Vrindavan, we don't wear shoes. Why? Because Krishna never wore shoes. And when the cows understood that our Lord is not wearing the shoes, what did they do? Because Nand Maharaj had 900,000 cows. They all went onto the path where Krishna is going to walk, and they hit with their legs, all crushing all the stones on the road. It became into fine powder. The cows loved Krishna so much. So on that soft powder, Krishna was able to walk barefooted. So this is Krishna. If you understand Krishna, then, of course, in this verse is meant for yogis. A yogi has to be trained like that. But in the last paragraph, Srila Prabhupada says, that yogi, if he's thinking of Krishna, that yogi will turn into a pure devotee. So in order to become a pure devotee, you have to follow these yogic principles, which is a must. Without discipline, there is no bhakti. If you want the proof, you should go to the 12th chapter. In the 12th chapter, if you go to the verse
There's
number
no voice.
8.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I think there is another
No, I'm
device.
unmuted. I'm okay.
I think it's coming from Hemendra Vashi somewhere. So whoever it is.
Yeah, there's someone called Hemendra Varshni.
Yeah.
Okay, he is unmuted. He done. It's okay. All right. So, what were you discussing? I just forgot.
Sorry, Prabhuji.
Said Bhagavad Gita 12.
Yeah, but chapter 8, verse number 8. Now, if you go to the verse number 8, Krishna says, keep your mind and intelligence in me. Mayeva manodatsva moyi buddhi niveshaya. And by doing so, you will come to me. Now, why is he telling Arjuna like this? Because that is the highest level of attaining Krishna. And because we can't put our mind and intelligence in Krishna, in the verse number 9, he says, if you can't put your mind and intelligence in me, then you engage in devotional service following the rules and regulations. So bhakti is not without rules and regulation. There's vidhi vidhan. Vidhi vidhan means regulations. And what are the regulations? Srila Prabhupada has made it very clear. Waking up early, taking a bath, decorating your body with tilak at different places, wearing your nice devotional clothes, enter the temple, whether you are in the temple or at home, open the altar, wake up the Lord, first prayers you offer to the Guru, which is called Mangalarti. After which you worship Tulsi Rani, after which you sit down to chant Hare Krishna, and then you worship Krishna, hear Bhagavatam, then you can go to work. See, it means strict rules and regulations there. Bhakti is not an emotion, nor is it a blind faith. It is scientific. And as you practice, you will understand the science behind Krishna consciousness. Very, very powerful. That's why, as I told you in the beginning, that each limb of devotional service, be it hearing or chanting or remembering, they are very, very powerful tools and very, very auspicious. They bring about auspiciousness in your life. And all your sinful reactions will be burnt by practicing devotional service. Why? Because devotional service is not within the range of the three modes of nature. It is beyond that. That's why in this purport, a simple advice is given, or Krishna tells Arjuna, one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. A devotee can never be destroyed. Name bhaktya pranashati. Krishna tells this in the 9th chapter. My devotee can never be vanquished. So we should have you should have faith in Krishna's words and follow the process properly and understand this process nicely. Hare Krishna. I think I have gone a bit over the time. It's already 45 minutes. Now we'll keep the few minutes for the question and answer. If you have any questions. And if you don't have a Sham Sundar like this, get one. This is my favorite. I always keep it near my bed.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much. We literally, through your Vani, saw Sham's Sundaram today and his shape of the body and his blue color. Prabhuji, there'll be questions, but before I open it up, can I please ask a question? The first line, which is the tattva with the person in Krishna consciousness, certainly sees Krishna, Lord Krishna everywhere. So that I understood. And he sees everything in Krishna. So and he sees everything in Krishna. What does it mean? So I see the whole, everything, this is in Krishna, or is there another meaning to it?
See, we all come out from Krishna. It's written in Bhagavad Gita that everything is coming out from me. Everything is emanating from Krishna. The source of everything, including us, is Krishna. And at the same time, we are within Krishna. Because if you see all around, everywhere there is Krishna. That is the meaning of within Krishna and without Krishna. That is the meaning. Or there's a verse where it says that I am the source of both all the sages and the demigods. I know all of them, but me, no one knows. What does that mean? And in another verse, Krishna says, I am the source of the entire creation, but I am aloof from the creation. It means I am in the creation, yet I am not in the creation. It's a very juggling words, but the meaning is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains, Achintya Abheda Bheda Tattva. To explain this point, I'll give you an example from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life. When he was very small, a few years old, he ate mud, you know what he calls, just like Krishna had eaten soil. He ate soil also. So Mother Sachi, the mother of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, told her, and why are you eating this soil? If you eat soil, you become sick. Come, I give you sandesh. Sandesh is a Bengali item, very sweet item. The moment you put it in your mouth, it just melts. It's even softer than peda, very soft, made up of milk, of course. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, of course, at that time his name was Nimai. Nimai replied that, what is the difference between mud and sandesh? After all, both have the same ingredients. Mother Sachi said, no. Then Mother Sachi told her, come, I explain you. She took him to a person where there were pots, pots, what do you call? Miti ka bartan, kya bolte? Pots. She says, you see this, matka. If you see this matka, if you put water in it, it will store. But if you put water on mud, it cannot store, it will spread. Though both are mud. Matka is made up of mud, and mud is also mud. But one will be able to hold, another one will not be able to hold. In the similar way, Krishna is everywhere within and also without. The reason is achintya bheda dveda tattva. At one time, we are as good, in one way, we are as good as Krishna, because there is Krishna in us. But that does not mean that we are Krishna. You understand the meaning of this line? For example, if I tell you, Kritika Mataji, in your heart there is Krishna. Do you agree?
Yes,
You
Prabhuji.
agree, yeah. But does that mean that you are Krishna?
No, Prabhuji.
No, you are not Krishna. So there is Krishna in your heart, but that does not mean you are Krishna. But qualitatively, you are as good at Krishna. Quantitatively, you are not as good at Krishna, because Atma is very tiny. What you are seeing me also is my big body, but my soul inside is only 1 to the 10,000 size of the tip of the hair. And imagine Krishna is the entire creation. The whole creation or the universal form is Krishna. You can compare your soul with the entire sky. What is the ratio? In millions, you are different. You are too small. That's why Atma is considered Anu. Anu means very small. And Krishna is called Vibhu, very big. So in one way, qualitatively, we are the same with Krishna. Quantitatively, we are not same as Krishna. In other words, we can never become Krishna. That is the meaning. And this is the philosophy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that is the meaning of seeing Krishna everywhere and seeing everything in Krishna. Is it clear, Manda?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. Thank you for that clarification.
Okay.
I have 2 more questions, but is there any other question that Joli Mataji, would you like to ask a question? I see.
Yes, please. I don't know if anybody else wants to ask first, because
Avinash
don't-
Prabhuji, you are unmuted as well. So
Yeah, can I ask a question?
yes,
Yes, go.
Avinash Prabhuji, and then after that, Joli Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Rukma Prabhu, thank you for class, a very nice class. I just wanted to ask a question really, is the form of Krishna that we see. So I am actually, when I go to Radha Gokulananda temple, I see that form. But
Yes.
then when I go to Vrindavan, I see Krishna Balram temple, and I go to Radha Gopinath, that form changes, now and then. And then when it comes to Damodar month, we see the baby form of Krishna.
Yes.
My question is, the form in your heart sometimes constantly changes by the time you go to different places.
Yes.
So how do you steadily remain and in just worshipping just one form in your heart? That's what.
Okay. Now, as you engage in devotional service, you'll find that you'll be attracted to a particular form of Krishna. For example, do you have a Gita in your hand, Bhagavad Gita in your hand?
Yes, I have, yeah.
Okay, if you go to the verse number 65, chapter 18, Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakto, in the second chapter, Sri Prabhupada says that one should meditate on Shyama Sundar, which we just discussed today. In our ISKCON, this is our favorite deity, that you should meditate on Shyam Sundar. And he gives a description. Let me exactly read the words right in front of me, because I have Bhagavad Gita in my hand. I can read for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
It says here, in the words, go to the second paragraph. It says, these words stress that one should concentrate his mind upon Krishna, the very form with 2 hands, carrying a flute, the bluish boy, with a beautiful face, peacock feathers in his hair. These are the descriptions of Krishna found in Brahma Samhita and other literatures. And later on, if you go to the purport, it says, one need not need to divert one's attention to many forms, like Vishnu, Narayan, Rama, Vara. They are all forms of Krishna. This form is very suitable for you. So we follow the Acharya. Our Acharya is Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada says, you stick to this form. Yes, you are right. When you go to Gokulananda, I think the deity is white in color. If you come to Nairobi, the deity of Banki Bihar is black. If you go to Vrindavan, most temples have a black deity, very few temples are white. It doesn't make any difference. The form of Krishna is very important, and even in the form of a baby is still worshipable. So whether you are for worshipping any form of Krishna, it is acceptable. For your information, in our ISKCON, we follow a strict timetable of offering Krishna 6 bhoga. Bhoga means, food offerings. Early morning when we wake Krishna up, the first items offered is always milk items. Peda, rabdi, kheer, and so on. Because at that time, Krishna is a baby. And when you offer Krishna bhoga at about 8 o'clock, at that time, the food is very simple because Krishna prepares himself to go to the forest with the cows. At the lunchtime, we offer him food called Raj Bhoga. Raj Bhoga means Krishna is like a king and a big variety. Anyone who eats Raj Bhoga will never go to a restaurant, that is for sure. Beautiful, very big variety. And then Krishna, when he returns from with the cows in the evening, again, very simple food. Krishna is already tired. So Mother Yashoda gives him sabji, vegetables, rice, puri, very simple food. And again at night, again Krishna is given milk and he goes to sleep. So this is standard for in all our ISKCON temples. So if you understand this timetable, you'll find that each form of Krishna has an importance. So in other words, we are worshipping the baby form, we are worshipping Krishna as a coward boy. And literally in the evening, when he's returning, he performs kirtan. So he's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we are also worshipping Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in our timetable. Like you sing Gora Arti, isn't it? Kiba Jayo Jayo Gora Chandra. At that time, we are not singing for Krishna. We are singing for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not different from Krishna. So remember that. So don't be confused that we are worshipping different forms. No. All these forms are one and only Krishna. And what is the name, Prabhu? Avinash, yeah? You were asking a question. Do you have a Krishna book? Do you have a Krishna book?
Oh yeah, I've got Krishna book.
Now, when you open the Krishna book, there's a nice preface, a preface written by the donor who was the first contributor to print the Krishna book. You should read that one. I think it was George Harrison. He has said that Krishna has many, many forms, but all the forms are one, and that is Krishna. So read that, worth reading. Okay, does that answer the question? All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very
Hare
much
Krishna.
for that explanation. However, as we are studying the Bhagavad Gita, I am not able to remember which verse it was, and that was described that the form of Krishna in your heart is the one with 4 hands.
Yes.
12, 13.
Yes, that is called Paramatma feature. The Lord in our heart, especially for a yogi, is the 4-handed form, which you can see the picture even in the Bhagavad Gita. There's a picture of Paramatma. And if you see that Paramatma feature, yes, that is the form within our heart. Also, it is explained that he is about 8 inches when you stretch your thumb, from thumb to the middle finger. It's not small. That is the size of Vishnu in our heart, in a human being. So it's not a small feature, it's quite big. So you're right, that can be seen by yogis, those who perform yoga, not the modern yoga, but the actual yoga, spiritual yoga. They can see that form within their heart. It is possible. But if one is successful, not otherwise. It's not easy even to see that form, because one has to be a celibate, go to a secluded place and perform yoga for quite some time, at least for many, many years. If you are very successful, you'll be able to see that Paramatma feature. Okay, that is right. Any other questions?
We
Hare
were
Krishna.
asked to ask.
Yeah.
1 minute,
Sorry.
Choti Mataji, because I just want to see clearance on the same. So today we learned that we should concentrate on the form of Shyama Sundaram, and when we look into ourselves, the form is the Paramatma feature. So I'm confused again.
No, there's nothing to be confused. Paramatma is in everyone.
Yeah.
Krishna says there's Sarvasya Chaham Hridishani Vishnu. 15th chapter, 15th verse. Remember that 15:15, very easy to remember. Very first line says, Sarvasya Chaham Hridishani Vishnu. I am situated in everyone's heart, but as Vishnu form. Till you engage in devotional service, then you can see Krishna with the flute. When you read the 11th chapter, even Arjuna had a desire to see Vishnu form. Krishna showed him Vishnu form. And then when he saw Krishna form, it was more beautiful than even the Vishnu form. And if you read Bhagavatam, there are many places Krishna would change into 400 form. For example, in front of Bhishma, for some time he showed his 400 form. There was a quarrel, there was an argument to kill Ashwatthama or not. Draupadi was saying, don't kill. Bhima said, kill him. So Krishna had to exhibit 4 hands. 2 hands he was holding Draupadi, 2 hands he was holding Bhima. And then Krishna tells Arjuna, kill him and don't kill him. Very confusing sentence. You can read that section. And then to protect Parikshit, when in the womb of the, Mother Uttara, Krishna assumed a 400 form. So Vishnu and Krishna is not different. So don't take Paramatma to be different from Krishna. And don't feel guilty that, oh, I am confused. Don't be confused. Krishna can exhibit the form which is suitable for his devotee. For example, Krishna will never appear as Krishna in front of Hanuman. Krishna will always only appear as Lord Ramachandra, because that's the deity of Hanuman. And Hanuman knows very well Krishna is Rama. It's not different. But the favorite deity of Hanuman is Rama. Even Jambuvan was confused when there was a fight between Krishna and Jambuvan for 28 days for the jewel, Shamantaka jewel. And Jambuvan realized that this person whom I am fighting for must be Ramachandra. Because the one who was fighting was Krishna. And then Krishna exhibited the form of Ramachandra. And then Jambuvan surrendered and gave his daughter, whose name is Satyabhama, is the daughter of Jambuvan. And if Prahlad was told to see Krishna or Ram, he said, no, I like Lord Nrsimhadev. Again, there's a different form. So it depends on a choice of a devotee. Krishna will appear in that particular form. But what does Prabhupada tell us as our Acharya, Shyam Sundar? One holding a flute. That's the form which is given an advice to us. Stick to that form. Because that is the form you should remember. So at the time of that, this form will appear in front of you and it will take you away. That should be our desire.
Correct.
Now, does that clear your doubts about?
Total clearance. Total clearance.
All right.
Thank
all
you
right.
very much.
Okay, there was someone called Jolie who was
Hey,
asking
Mataji.
something.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
That brings me to 2 questions. Have you got time for 2 questions?
Yes, yes.
Oh, Hare Krishna. Well, we were saying about Vishnu being, in a way, senior to Krishna. Why is it we're not worshipping Vishnu then? To
Well,
master that position and imagine him with his 4 limbs in our heart.
Okay, we are not saying Vishnu is senior to Krishna. No, I never said like that.
No, not you,
Vishnu,
but I heard it before. That's why I'm asking.
okay. No, Vishnu is not senior. In fact, Krishna is the origin of Vishnu. See, to make this point very clear,
Yes, please. Yeah.
this question was asked to our Gopal Krishna Maharaj, and he answered that imagine a man working in his office. He wears a suit and a tie, and he's a different person. Same person when he goes home, he removes that suit and tie, he wears his normal clothes at home, and he's much sweeter at home. Though the person is same, but the form in his office is different, the form at home are different. So to carry on the universal activities, Krishna assumed the form of Vishnu. But when he's with his devotees, he's in his relaxed mood, that is the form of Krishna. Same person exhibiting 2 different forms. This is the answer given by His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Just like if you have your husband, I don't know if you have a husband,
Yeah, I
He
do.
may be looking different in his office or place of work. Same husband when he's sitting next to you, he's a different person. But you know that actually is the same person.
Yes,
That
we
is in a
change role,
different mode,
yes.
different mood. This one is in a different
And
mood.
role, yes. Yeah,
Yes,
Hare
so it's
Krishna.
not that you are forbidden to worship Vishnu. You
No.
can worship Vishnu. However, in our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings, he says you don't worship Vishnu alone. You always worship Lakshmi, Narayan, or Lakshmi and Vishnu together. Is it clear?
But all the Vedas points to Krishna anyway.
Yes,
There's
yes.
more scriptures about Krishna than there is about Vishnu.
No,
No,
there is a
isn't?
lot. See, you see 18 Puranas, there are 6 are in the mode of goodness, 6 in the mode of passion, 6 in the mode of, 6 upper are for the people who are in the mode of goodness, middle 6 are for the mode of passion, lower 6 are for the mode of ignorance. Now, if you see the upper 6, they'll all point to Vishnu. Where if you see the topmost, which is Srimad Bhagavatam, it says only Krishna. If you see the middle 6, it speaks about impersonal Brahman. And if you see the lower 6, it says worship Shiva. So one can become confused. There's nothing confused. It's very clear. According to the mode you are, you worship accordingly. If you think, for example, like if I were to explain to you that all the demons which were killed in Krishna Lila, all the killing was done by Vishnu form, you are not going to believe it. If you read scrutinizingly, Krishna does not like to kill anyone. All that killing, Agasur, Bagasur, Putna, all was done by the Vishnu form, who is also Krishna. Yes, Krishna enjoys with gopis, and Krishna can even enjoy with you, with this fruit. Yeah. Does that clear you?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. I love this story about the different roles. That actually clarify my doubts about it.
What was your second question now?
The second one is to do with the Brahman and worshipping Kali.
Yes.
What's the lesson to be learned? I know I have a feeling it's to do with the perception from our mind. We perceive things like that, like it's to do with the mind, isn't it?
Not with the mind, but this is truth. There are some very low community who still are accustomed to eat meat, and they are not. I mean, they not worship Krishna. They may be worshiping even Krishna, but Krishna does not accept meat. So they are advised to worship Kali. And even to worship Kali, you need a Brahmin. So the story which I gave you is of a Brahmin who was a worshipper of Kali. So don't be confused.
Don't confuse with Brahmins, no.
Yeah.
No, I understand that.
Okay.
But
of course, in one purport in Bhagavad Gita, as you read in the 18th chapter, the verse says, every endeavor is covered with a fault. That is the verse. So he says that sometimes a Brahmin may have to perform a yajna in a very low community. Yajna means a sacrifice, fire sacrifice. And he may have to put flesh inside, but that is not a sin on the part of the Brahmin. Or a Kshatriya. Kshatriya means a warrior. He may have to go and spy for the good of his country. Spying is as good as cheating, but that is allowed. A businessman may have to speak a lie by telling his customer, oh, I'm giving you the cost price. But he always puts some markup there. Otherwise, how is he going to survive? So every endeavor is covered with a fault. So don't take this story that this Brahmin is a Vaishnava. He's not a Vaishnava. He's just a normal Karmakan Brahmin. We are not talking of a genuine Brahmin. Genuine Brahmin is as good as a pure devotee of Krishna. Of course, he may not be worshipping Krishna. Same Brahmin, when he worships Krishna, then he becomes a Vaishnava Brahmin. So in our ISKCON, the Brahmins we have are Vaishnava Brahmins, very highly qualified, Brahmins. Is it clear, Mata?
Absolutely. And I think it would be interesting to know if it changed his life round, because the influence from the people that down him about it's a dog. I wondered if that helped him to stop killing animals to sacrifice them.
Well, we do not know the story exactly what happened after that. All I know is in that story, which has been explained by one of our Maharajas, he said when everyone told him you are carrying a dog, he got disgusted and he left it
Mm.
just to go without it.
Do you think
That's
Krishna
what,
entered his heart and Krishna
yes,
must have influenced him, obviously?
yes. Even like us,
Yeah.
many of you know who are innocent people do not know that eating meat is has a bad karma or a heavy
Mm.
karma.
Yeah.
But till someone gives us the information, we'll never touch meat. We won't eat
Absolutely.
meat. So we have to be compassionate upon everyone, even though the meat eaters or non-meat eaters.
Mm.
Then you are a Brahmin. Then you are a real Brahmin.
Yeah, but Prabhupada show us that side, isn't he? With the
Yes.
hippies that he dealt with and the down and out drug addicts, only addictors. Yes.
Yes.
So we must not discriminate human beings. They all have got a good side that we need to nurture.
Yes. And besides that, there is Krishna in the heart of everyone. Don't forget that.
Yes, that's a good one. Yeah. We
You
mustn't
must
forget.
see. Yeah. And in fact, the verse of today says the same thing. Seeing Krishna everywhere means seeing Krishna in the heart of everyone. If you go to the 5th chapter, if you have Bhagavad Gita in your hand, go to the 5th chapter, verse number 18. It says, Vidya Vinaya Sampane. Anyone who is learned will see Krishna in the heart of everyone. But you have to be learned.
Yeah. So the key
Okay,
is not to forget.
yeah, be compassionate.
Yes.
Don't be harsh upon anyone.
No.
Because even the
on
worst person
yourself.
can,
Yeah.
Even if you compare yourself to others, you should also know that before you became a devotee, when you had no information of Krishna, you are acting in a different way. But when you become a devotee, you acting in another way. So don't forget your past life. I mean, what you had done before. I myself, before I became a devotee, I've done a lot of nonsense. I remember all that.
Yeah.
So when I see people doing nonsense, I don't say, hey, stop it. There's a way of telling them, no, this is not good. And give this up, come to Krishna, have some prasad, read Bhagavad Gita, chant Hare Krishna. We have to show compassion. If you can't show compassion, you're not a devotee of Krishna. Yeah. Thank you. It was a nice question.
Thank you
Nice
very
question.
much, Prabhu. That was really useful. I'm going to take that forward because today we were talking about the same thing. Yeah, about the Srimad Bhagavatam has got a write-up on that. Anyway, I wouldn't take any more of your time because somebody else might want to say something. Anyway.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. Hare Krishna. And to everybody.
Hare
Thank
Krishna. Thank you very much, Jyoti Mataji.
Thank you.
We have exhausted our time for today. If there is a burning question, is there any question? Okay, if there are no questions, then I will hand over to Path Prabhuji, who has unmuted himself.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, His Grace Rukma Prabhuji. He's giving the wonderful session here. And today is also so auspicious that from the beginning of the year, the first day of the year, we have a great association of the great devotee and senior devotee, His Rukma Prabhu.
I'm not a senior devotee. I'm trying to become a...
Yeah, it is your good fortune, Prabhu. You are giving your valuable time to us because we know you are busy all the time. But despite of all time, you spare your time for us. We are so grateful to you. And it is obviously because the thing is that we have the concept of how can we engage in Krishna consciousness all the time, but we are not getting the time proper. But at least we can read Bhagavad Gita with a great devotee in the association of a devotee. So it will be good fortune for us. It is a sign of a good fortune for the whole year. So thank you very much, Rukma Prabhuji. Also, I thanks to all the devotees who joined here and giving their time in the Zoom session. We pray Lord Shri Radha Shyam Sundar Devji, like Rukma Prabhuji already told, this is our worshipful Lord, according to Srila Prabhupada by Acharya. Lord Radha Shyam Sundar giving the blessings, share his blessings on to all the devotees. So this coming year supposed to be we more and more advanced in Krishna consciousness. That is our prayer to Lordship. And I request everyone, please unmute yourself and chant Hare Krishna mantra once for ourselves and for also pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. Please join.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Srila
Krishna.
Vancha
Prabhupada
kalpa jai, vancha kalpa tarubhyasya kripa sindhu jai bhajan. Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Srila Prabhupada ki
Hare
jai.
Ki Jai.
His Grace Rukma Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Sarva Vaishnavan ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I'm ending the session. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.